All right, you lot, don't forget to give us a follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating. Trust me, it really does help us out.
2-2.
And then, obviously, Nick de Vries, Alpha Tauri. Weird one. Definitely not one I don't think anyone would have called.
At the start of the season.
I guarantee there's not a single F1 driver predictions for 23 video that has Nick de Vries in an Alpha Tauri. You know, it's a
Let me change the date on my predictions. We're cooking.
bit of post-processing. What do we make of that move? What do we think the point is, basically?
I'm not particularly sure. Do you know what I've noticed about Red Bull? They seem to be moving away from placing their academy drivers in their seats. We saw it with Sergio Perez, and now with Nick de Vries. Nick de Vries, everybody knows he was a Mercedes driver. He performed well, so he does deserve a seat in Formula One. When he did get the opportunity in Monza, he got the points. But the kind of rationale behind it, maybe they wanted somebody that can lead the team a little bit more, because obviously you got Yuki there, he's quite young still, and possibly make it a more attractive prospect, because AlphaTauri, they're for sale. So if you've got Nick de Vries and he's doing his thing, and you got a young Yuki Tsunoda, maybe that becomes a more attractive process, attractive purchase compared to, let's say, for example, if you had 2 rookies in there, they put like another Red Bull rookie in there. Let's say they put Liam Lawson in there. You want Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. Is that really going to work well?
Yeah.
They wanted somebody with a little bit more experience. He hasn't got F1 experience, but he's got driving experience.
Yeah.
He's got more F1. He's got more.
He will be a rookie.
Super license points through the roof.
Yeah, he's got more than Verstappen.
He's a world champion before Max was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because I feel like they're lining up de Vries to replace Perez. That's my kind of theory on it.
All Dutch.
So they just tested him out at AlphaTauri.
Yeah, because, I mean, Perez isn't like, there's like 5 years between them, so there's not a huge gap in age between de Vries and Perez. But I don't know, I just feel like I don't really understand the move if you're not, like, I just think chuck like Liam Lawson in or give some, I know none of the Red Bull Juniors have really shone, but that's why I think.
That's the problem, though, what you just said there, because, you know, AlphaTauri in a situation where they're losing Pierre. So what do we do? And what's the next best? You know, who can we get where we say, do you know what, this is a viable option and it makes sense? De Vries is a good driver, so it's kind of like, you know, for me, like I look at it, Williams have bottled this. Like, how have Williams not got this done over the line?
Interesting.
They've bottled this because, you know, it's good for AlphaTauri. I think AlphaTauri will be very happy with this purchase and say, you know what, we got Yuki in there, and I think De Vries will give him a run for his money.
Yeah.
So, you know, AlphaTauri are happy. If you're Williams, however, now where are you looking? Where are we going with them? Because De Vries is gone, and I know what you're saying about, you know, the academy drivers and everything else, and we want, look, in an ideal world, we want that, but AlphaTauri can't make mistakes. Red Bull, who are looking at the situation, can't make mistakes with that second team. And who knows, maybe that team becomes its own. You know, it really becomes its own team. But yeah, I think I'm very happy for De Vries to get a drive, and AlphaTauri is actually better than what I thought he would get. So
yeah, I think he's earned the opportunity.
Yeah,
fair play to him. I
think, Tommo, you make a good point about lining up a driver for Perez, because I don't think they're going to carry on with Perez after that contract runs out. So they have to be thinking about options on who's going to partner with him.
Well, I think I'd imagine their thought process is, right, let's get to, like, De Vries got a great relationship with Max, both Dutch, like they go way back, like, you know, see how he goes. See if we think, because I'm sure they can find a way to like get access to like his data as much as, you know, to like understand what type of driver he is. Because you own both teams. I'm not being funny, but like, I don't know. I just think that's the most logic I can attach.
When you look at the Red Bull program right now, and you look at who Helmut Marko is talking about, he's talking about Isaac Hadjar, who's in F3 right now. He's talking about Iwasa. These people ain't got super license. Well,
they wanted
not going to go into F1.
They wanted Colton Herta. Red Bull Junior wasn't even the Colton Herta was the first choice.
And those guys that they rate in the program are nowhere near F1 yet.
So this is the thing. So for like Formula 2 this season, you've got obviously Jehan Daruvala, there's Yuri Vips.
Hauger as well.
There's
Hauger.
There's Iwasa, and obviously there's Liam Lawson. Daruvala for me is like a really nice man. I'm sure a great family man, but he's probably not the quality required
Got the
Formula One in terms of like, I've always said this and I always say this, I always will. If you're not challenging for a championship in your second season, for me in Formula 2, you're not good enough.
You're not
for Formula
ready.
One. You're probably a great driver, but you're not Formula because it's so cutthroat. Obviously, Liam Lawson, this is his second season. He's 7th in the championship. He hasn't really wowed that much. Iwasa's obviously a rookie, so you can give him a bit more leeway. He's P9. But yeah, other than that, it's like Isaac Hadjars, and they're just so far away from being ready for Formula One. So you kind of got to go outside the house. And I think De Vries, like Formula E champion, Formula 2 champion, he's got great pedigree.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great move for them.
Yeah, I think he would have got an F1 move earlier if other things had been, like, factors outside of his control had been different. Because to win F2 isn't, yes, it was his 3rd season. So I get the caveat with that. But at the end of the day, like, he won it. He's had the super license put for a long time. He's got a lot of experience in different like types of cars as well, which I think will stand him in good stead. So I don't think he'll set the world alight, but it'll be interesting to see how he
They
does.
put him in a Formula 1 car and he performed.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he beats Yuki Tsunoda in Yuki's 3rd season?
What we're saying, head to head.
Yeah, we've done it head-to-head without
Tsunoda,
being,
De Vries.
but I actually think he might have the potential. to.
I think Yuki wins.
Do you reckon?
I think Yuki wins.
I think
he's been quite tight with Gasly this year. There's been progression. I would have been worried if he stagnated and it was the same as last year. But I am seeing that progression. I do see the mistakes here and there still. But you have to remember he's the youngest driver on the grid.
Yeah.
He's a little kid, basically, compared to the rest of the guys.
Quite literally little.
Yeah. So if he still goes on the trajectory he's going on, and we've got Nick De Vries, that's first year Formula One, I'm slightly edging it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going the other way. I think De Vries will finish above Yuki because, and I know what I said about Ocon, experience, knows the car, blah, 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 but Yuki hasn't, for me, hasn't made that progression where I believe...
Not made enough progression.
Yeah, I don't believe he's
I get
done
that.
enough.
I get that.
Where you could say, look, he's going to be standalone clear of De Vries, whereas De Vries, he jumps into the Williams and you're like, wait, what's going on here? You know, what... Like, I'm not expecting that from him at all. And yet he surprised me. And the fact that, as you said, he's a champion in F2 and Formula E, you're a different kind of animal that we're not ready for, that we haven't probably seen yet in Formula One. So my instinct says De Vries over Yuki.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Yuki, but I wouldn't be
I'm
surprised.
going to back before Yuki, actually. I'm being a fool. Like, I have to back him.
Come on, you got
Yuki going to the moon.
Yuki to the moon.
Yuki's going to the
Come
moon,
on.
yeah?
Yuki to the moon.